Hi class, Miss Bolting here. Today's topic is dysgraphia. Dysgraphia is a learning disability that affects writing ability. It can manifest itself as difficulties in spelling, poor handwriting, and trouble putting thoughts on paper. Because writing requires a complex set of motor and information skills, saying a student has dysgraphia is not sufficient. Dysgraphia is a written language disorder in serial production of strokes to form a handwritten letter. This involves not only motor skills, but also language skills, finding, retrieving, and producing letters, which is a sub-word level language skill. Dysgraphia is related to dyslexia as both are language-based disorders, but they are two distinct disorders that can exist concurrently or separately. They both have different brain mechanisms and identifiable characteristics. Characteristics of dysgraphia include variable-shaped, poorly formed letters, as we can see in this picture. Also, excessive erasures and crossouts, poor spacing between letters and words, unable to write within the lines, letter and number reversal beyond early stages of writing, awkward, inconsistent pencil grip, heavy pencil and hand fatigue, slow writing and copying of legible and illegible handwriting, difficulty with unedited written spelling, and low volume of written output, as well as problems with other aspects of written expression. What dysgraphia is not: it is not evidence of a damaged motor nervous system. It is not part of a developmental disability that has fine motor deficits. Example given: intellectual disability, autism, or cerebral palsy. It is not secondary to a medical condition such as meningitis, significant head trauma, or brain trauma, and it is not an association with generalized development, motor, or coordination difficulties. It is also not impaired spelling or written expression with typical handwriting. There are 5 types of dysgraphia, but it is not uncommon for an individual to be affected by more than one type. We have dyslexic dysgraphia, motor dysgraphia, spatial dysgraphia, phonological dysgraphia, and lexical dysgraphia. Dyslexic dysgraphia is spontaneously having illegible handwriting, but their copied work is legible. Students with dyslexic dysgraphia have poor spelling skills, normal finger tapping speed is common, and the individual may not have dyslexia, but they sometimes occur at the same time. Motor dyslexia occurs due to poor fine motor skills, dexterity, low muscle tone, or unspecified clumsiness. Written work is often poor and illegible, both when copied or original. Letter formation can be done well through extreme effort and long time. Poor grip on writing instrument results in slanted writing, and spelling is not impaired. Finger tapping speeds are above average. Spatial dysgraphia occurs when students do not understand spacing. The writing is sometimes illegible, but copied and original, but finger tapping and spelling is normal and unimpaired. Students with spatial dysgraphia struggle to keep writing on lines and spacing between words. Phonological dysgraphia is poor writing and spelling when encountering unfamiliar and irregular words. Phonemes are not able to be memorized, which makes decoding through blending difficult for students with phonological dysgraphia. Lexical dysgraphia includes normal spelling ability when sound to letter patterns are present with misspelling or irregular words. This is most common in the English and French languages because the languages are less phonetic in comparison to other languages. This form of dysgraphia is rare. Facts and statistics. There are not many studies about dysgraphia, so the prevalence of this learning disability is unknown. According to Book, prevalence of dysgraphia is estimated at 5 to 20% of all students having some type of writing deficit. In the Pediatric News Journal in April 2008, it was stated that the prevalence of dysgraphia is unknown but is likely under-identified. Another study done in 2011 discussed the variance of prevalence rates at the elementary school ranging from 5 to 33%. It states that writing disorders decreased as the age of students increased. It was estimated that in the beginning of second grade, 37% of students had a form of dysgraphia, which decreased to 17% by the end of the year. This further decreased as the student progressed to third grade and on. Difficulties and tools to use for students with dysgraphia. So, dysgraphia affects concentration, fine motor, and organization skills. So, we do have poor hand grip. We are using equipment to help the student with dysgraphia, and they need to have more time with proofreading. They need vocabulary words and checklists to refer back to. They also have a hard time writing words, and they become tired quickly because of the pressure that they apply when writing. So some classroom management skills are voice recorders, speech to text, require extra time when writing, and they may need support with syntax and structure and grammar. Here are also some tools that can help students with dysgraphia. We have ergonomic pencils that allow the student to hold the pencil the correct way in order to have proper handwriting slants. We also have some tools that students can use and references that children can become familiar with, such as your roof, ceiling, floor, and basement. We also have charts that show students where the letter falls on the line so that they can become better accustomed to looking and writing the letter where it needs to go. There are also raised line papers that students can use that does not allow the student to go below the line or keeps the student writing straight across the paper. There are also colored papers that allow the student to focus on the line and the direction that they need to go, allowing them to write the words from top to bottom and only going underneath when they need to. Here are a couple of videos that we have that explain dysgraphia a little bit more in depth. And here's a works cited page. Here are some examples of how to help children with dysgraphia and letter size rules. So size 1 letter rule, it has to touch the top and bottom. It has to touch the top line and the bottom line, and it cannot float in the middle. Size 2 letter rule, it has to touch the middle line and touch the bottom line, and it can't float in the middle. Size 3 letter rule, it has to touch the middle line and it has to go below the bottom line. There are 3 writing lines, top, middle, and bottom. You can also turn this into a game that if the students get the letter rules correct, they can get a star, and then if they don't follow the rules, then they can roll a dice and practice writing them correctly, the number that is shown on the dice. Here's another example of an accommodation that a student with dysgraphia can use. It's the yellow lined paper, and it shows them that this is where a majority of their letters are going to go on the line, and it also helps draw focus to the line to keep them writing directionally straight across the line. Also, here's some more information about dyslexia, the different types of dyslexia, the statistics that we went over in the PowerPoint presentation, as well as information from the Dysgraphia Handbook in regards to some legislation that went through about dysgraphia, and then again the characteristics of dysgraphia, and then also how to identify dysgraphia through data gathering, initial evaluation of pathways, and the formal evaluation. Alright guys, so make sure that you fill out your notes page, and then take your quiz. Guys, thanks for tuning in for today's lesson on dysgraphia. Hope you have a great weekend. Bye.